G'day guys, I'm Matt Brand, and this... oh, it's a 2021 Tesla Model 3! This is the car that I've wanted to drive for so long, since starting the channel. The Model 3 is the one I really wanted to get into. And why, you might ask? Well, really because it's been so hyped up. This car is relentless in how people speak about it. Oh, I bought a Model 3, I bought a Model 3. You see them everywhere. So I wanted to know, is it as good as everyone keeps saying it is? After all, it's just an EV, right? As of today, I am a changed man. Holy the Tesla Model 3 is just incredible. And I want to share with you my excitement for this car, why it is so cool, and what's new for 2021, because there has been some pretty cool updates for the 2021 model year. So join me in today's review. Let's just get straight into it. The Model 3 starts with the Standard Range Plus, and that's 66,900 Australian dollars. It has a single motor at the rear. It has a claimed range of 508 kilometers, which is pretty damn good, and it will do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.6 seconds, which is very good. You got to remember, that's faster than most hot hatches out there. Then there is the car that I'm driving today, which is the long range, and it has a claimed range of 658 kilometers, which is pretty good, although I'm getting closer to 580 kilometers, still very good. And it has dual motors with a 0 to 100 of 4.4 seconds. This car is so fast. Oh! Anyway, this car is $81,900. And then there is the Tesla Model 3 Performance, which is very, very cool. And yeah, I really like that one. That starts at $93,900. It has a claimed range of 628 kilometers and will do 0 to 100 in 3.3 seconds, which, to put that in perspective, is the same as a Lamborghini Huracan Evo. So, you know, it's doing pretty well, especially for a family sedan. And the Model 3 Performance is, of course, a dual motor as well. One at the front, one at the rear. Now, the 0 to 100, it's quick. It's very quick, but that's not where it feels fastest. No, it's when you're going at speeds like, you know, 60 kilometers an hour, as we're going here, and then you put your foot down, that it just goes. Oh my God, this thing has so much power and torque. Of course, being electric, you get instant torque. Instant, and it doesn't let up. It's relentless, and it's across the range. Even just the base short range, whatever it's called, with the rear wheel drive setup, that is still very, very quick, especially when you're on the move. And this is no different. It is just so fast. My partner described it that she feels like she's in a roller coaster in the Tesla Model 3, and I can absolutely see that. It feels like a roller coaster, but in the best way possible. And it's really usable. It's awesome for overtaking people. And when I picked up the Model 3, the Tesla rep told me that they compare this car to the BMW 3 Series and the Mercedes C-Class. Bloody stiff competition, let me tell you. But, oh, spoiler alert, this thing, well, we'll get on to that. Suffice to say, the price to performance ratio blows those cars to Mars. For now though, I want to talk about the way that it looks. The looks of the Model 3 are good, but you know, to me, they're not amazing. It's not the most beautiful car on the roads. It's certainly designed for aerodynamics. It looks so. That said, I do quite like the front. I like how simple and elegant it is. It really does have a very sleek look, as it should for such an aerodynamic car. The headlights are new for 2021 and apparently have matrix LED technology ready to go, except that Tesla hasn't officially announced it yet, and they haven't put it in the software, but it probably will come as a software update. It hasn't been 100% confirmed that they're even in there, but apparently they are. Even if not though, the lights themselves are pretty cool. You've got a nice little daytime running light. In fact, they're actually quite big, and the LED lights are bright, low beam, high beam. It's a good headlight setup, but it will probably get better. For those that don't know, matrix LED blanks out part of their beam for oncoming traffic. So it's one of the nicest headlights you can have, if it's there and rumors are correct. But my favorite part about the front is just how low and wide it is. And it really does give you a panoramic view when you're driving. It is incredible how much I can see. Visibility is incredible. And the windscreen really extends the entire length of the car. It is an entire glass panel over the car, and it really does just give the interior this beautiful ambience. It's so light and airy in here despite being the black interior option. The side again points to maximum aerodynamics, so it is a very coupey looking little car, and I like that. Speaking of coupey, the windows are frameless and they are double glazed for 2021, meaning that it is just a little bit quieter apparently within the Model 3, and I can tell you driving this around, it's quiet in here, surprisingly for a car that has no engine. The wheels, in my opinion, are nothing special. They look all right. I mean, it looks like an ultimate sleeper, to be honest. And the front brakes are Brembo brakes. Even though they're painted Tesla, they are Brembos, and at the back, they are standard Tesla brakes, but it doesn't matter because this thing brakes on a dime. By the way, the one pedal driving in the Model 3 is probably the best out there. You really never have to take your foot off the accelerator. For those that don't know, the Model 3 has regenerative braking, and that means that when you take your foot off the accelerator, it brakes and uses the energy from the brakes to charge up the battery just a little bit, saving you a little bit of power, giving you a little bit back. It's cool. Excuse me here while I give a bit of a electric car sauce, man. Whoa. And then also new for 2021, they've removed the chrome from the windows and the door handles and replaced them with a matte black finish, which is a very cool look. And for those that want to know how the door opens, well, this is how you do it in a Model 3. And then the rear remains the same as far as I can tell. Not a bad thing. The tail lights, they look pretty cool, especially at nighttime. I like the LEDs. But other than the tiny little boot lip spoiler, if you can even call it that, there's not much going on. And that's not a bad thing. It's just, that's it. I'm curious, what do you think looks better? Do you prefer the looks of the Tesla Model 3, the BMW 3 Series, or the Mercedes C-Class? Let me know in the comments section below. Now I want to move on to the interior, but before we do, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I release an awesome new car review like this every single week, and while you're there, please do like the video. It really, really helps the channel out. Thank you. So let's talk about the overall look, layout, and feel. The Model 3 is all about minimalism. It's all about keeping everything uncluttered and everything central. So what that means is that you get a very bare bones interior with pretty much no buttons, very few. Got a couple on the steering wheel, got your hazard lights up top, your window controls, and buttons for opening the doors, which is pretty cool. This interior is about the screen, but we'll get back to the screen in a moment. I'll be honest with you, I thought this would be a pretty crappy interior, but it's surprisingly premium. There are soft touch materials absolutely everywhere. You get wood trim on the dash, which I really, really like. You can also get a white interior with like a plastic finish on the dash, but black would be the way I would go. And you might notice there are no air vents, and that's because it's all done through the infotainment screen. It is a magical system, by the way. You can have air blowing on you in ways you never thought air could blow on you before. It is that good. Like right now, I've got air coming straight through the steering wheel. Oh, it's so comfortable. But anyway, new for 2021 is a new center console. You get two wireless chargers up front on this like Alcantara-like feeling wireless charging pad. It works very well. Gone is the gloss black in the center, and now you get this nice matte kind of gunmetal finish. You've got a really large storage area covered underneath a little sliding door. You've got a couple of cup holders in the center and a couple more in the doors, and the door pins are surprisingly huge. And then you've got a massive center armrest, massive. Oh, and you do get two USB-C ports up front too, which is nice and modern. Excuse me here while I give a bit of the sauce. Ah! My God. Oh, it's like you're holding on for dear life. I cannot wipe the smile off my face. But yeah, you got nice stitching everywhere. It's a premium place to be, and I think it looks great too. In terms of ergonomics and practicality, this steering wheel is tilting and telescoping, though it is a bit of a faff. You have to do it through the screen. But once you set it up, that's fine. So you kind of only have to do it once. And the seats are adjustable in pretty much every way possible. So I've got no complaints there either. Speaking of the seats, they are pretty good. They're not real leather. It's 100% vegan within here, but they're comfortable enough. I think they look pretty cool too. So I don't have any complaints. To be honest, the seats in a 3 Series I find are a bit better. Haven't tried the new C-Class obviously because it hasn't been released, but in the current C-Class, they're quite tight. So yeah, this is a pretty good middle ground. Oh, also new for 2021, you have magnets for your visors. Fascinating. In terms of the steering wheel, it's pretty good. It again very much follows the minimalist theme, and I like that. It's again made of this fake leather, but you wouldn't be able to tell, honestly, it's that good. And new for 2021, the buttons have been replaced with metal. So they're metal feeling now, and they feel a bit nicer in the hands. Not that I would know, I haven't driven a Model 3 before, apparently. But these buttons are central to a lot within the interior, just like this infotainment screen. So really, let's talk about this infotainment screen. First thing you'll notice is how huge it is. It is 15 inches, and it is like you've just got an oversized iPad stuck on the dash, and I like it. You do not have any instrument cluster in front of you. Everything, including your speed, everything is through here. On the right hand side of the screen, when you're parked, you can open the frunk. Yes, it has a frunk, or the boot. And then when you're driving, it turns into the coolest display, and it just shows you everything going on around you, from traffic lights to cones on the street, cyclists, trucks, everything. It knows what's going on. Amazing. You can also see things like your tire pressure there, and also your trip distance too. Excuse me here while I give a bit of the EV sauce. Oh my God. Oh man. Yikes. Yikes. Oh, what was I saying? Yeah, left-hand side of the screen. This is where you have your maps. A giant Google Maps is here, and that does mean that no, you do not get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. At least here in Australia you don't. It's all, you know, kind of relying on Google Maps. Not that that's a bad thing, because I mean, we all use Google Maps anyway, right? But it's awesome. When you put in a destination, it will show you how long it will take to get there, of course, but it will also show you where you need to stop off at superchargers along the way, if you need to, and then how much battery you will have left after you've arrived. But as I said, this screen is central to absolutely everything. So for example, if you want to open the glove box, you have to do it through this screen. Now, to be honest, I buy into the vision of the minimalism, so I don't mind it, but some people might be a little bit annoyed by these little small things, like trying to change the mirrors too. You have to go in through a menu and then use the steering wheel to do it. It can be a little bit of a faff. Having said that though, it does act just like an iPad do. You have so many different apps and things that you can control through here. If you want to listen to music, you can do so via a standard FM radio, or you have TuneIn, Spotify, your own phone, of course, or karaoke, where you can sing to songs in the car with your family. It's kind of fun. Of course, you can access your calendar, you can see your energy usage, and also your charging information too. There is a theater mode where you can watch YouTube, Netflix, whatever you really want to while you're charging the car, for example, and you need to wait. So you have something to do. You've also got an arcade mode where you can play actual games. One of them, Beach Buggy Racing 2, you actually use the steering wheel and the pedals to play the game, which is just hilarious, but also pretty incredible. Family favorite though is the toy box. It's just a bunch of silly little apps. Emissions is by far the favorite. It is just a farting app, but you can do stupid stuff like play fart noise just like around, or when you turn on your turning signal. Yeah, it's just stupid, but it's funny at the same time, you know? It gave us all a little giggle. You have a romance mode that turns on a fireplace and music that I'm not allowed to play. You can draw stuff on the sketch pad. You can make your Google Maps into the surface of Mars. You have a Santa mode playing Santa music, turns your little car into Santa's sleigh. And then you have Rainbow Road, which turns the road as you're driving on your little display into a rainbow road, just as it says on the tin. But as I said, air conditioning controlled through here. Incredible the way you can move it around, have air tickling you in places you never thought you could. And of course, there is heated seats across all 5 seats within here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I probably haven't even scratched the surface of what's within this screen. It's just what I've been using, and yeah, there's a lot. This whole car revolves around the technology, especially this 15-inch screen, which is incredible. The screen itself is absolutely fantastic. It is so sharp, responsive to the touch, and color accurate. It looks great. And of course, it's not just about the tech inside the car, you have the tech outside too. The key for this car is your phone. That or a key card, which you can use to tap on the side, and then you have to place it in the center console. It's a bit of a faff. You want it on your phone. And then through the phone app, you can do absolutely everything. From turning on the air conditioner, to checking the charging status, to seeing where your car's current location is if, God forbid, it's been stolen. The app is a must-have companion for the car. You don't even have to take it out of your pocket. It knows when you're walking up to the car, it will unlock, and it will lock when you're walking away. It's so hassle-free. Moving to the rear seats, and it's a comfortable enough place to be. It's not the best, to be honest, and that's because while you have plenty of legroom, especially me at 5'11", toe room, there's absolutely nothing because the floor is quite high up with the batteries down below. Having said that, there is plenty of headroom, surprisingly, for such a swoopy looking car. So it's not the best in class, but it's totally fine. You also get 2 USB-C ports back there as well, and 2 air vents. Boot space is actually pretty good too, 425 liters. You can get plenty of stuff within there, and then you can fold down the rear seats too and get even more stuff. So you're doing pretty well there. And then in terms of charging, if you plug it into a standard wall socket, it will take you about 32.5 hours to get a full charge. So that's not something you should really ever do unless you have to. Then you have level 2 charging, which is a little power box installed at your house or destination chargers. That takes 6 hours and 40 minutes, and the box does come with your car. Of course, you have to get it fitted at your home. And finally, you have supercharging. And while the supercharging network in Australia is the best out of everything out there right now, it's not the greatest in the world. And so, like, the closest one to me is 8 kilometers away, and that's a bit of a drive. That's not a fault of the car, it's a fault of Australia's infrastructure, which is getting better every day. But you will get a full charge in just 45 minutes, and that's really quick. Now, while this long range doesn't have any driving modes per se, you can change some of the ways that it does drive. For example, if you want it to be a bit more tame, a bit more calm, you can make the throttle response a bit calmer. Of course, I've got mine in the standard because I want the fast one. I think they call it chill. This is not chill. This is not chill. Oh my God. You can also change the way that this steers, and the way that it does steer is incredible. It's a single rotation for a full lock, and I put this car into the standard steering setting. You can make it really hard, or you can put it into comfort, and comfort is still a little bit on the harder end, mind you. But I know exactly where I'm pointing the steering wheel, the car will go, and handling is just superb. But genuinely, it is one of the best driving cars in the class. It is helped by the fact that all of the weight is really low down in the car. The center of gravity is low, but suspension is really well dampened, especially for a car that weighs about 1.8 tons. It's not a light car per se, but it's just so good in how it drives. There's no body roll. And at 1.8 tons, you would expect there to be some body roll in such a heavy car, but no, it's been completely eliminated, even on these dampers, which are a single setting. They're not adaptive, they are what they are. But it just glides, it glides over bumps. It's not the most comfortable riding car in the world, but it's certainly far from the worst. Also, the all-wheel drive performance, because you do have those front and rear motors, is incredible. It's a horrible day today, and I've had no issues with traction at all. No wheel slipping, nothing. The power is managed so well, and you do get a truly fantastic all-wheel drive setup with loads of grip. But yeah, I'm just so impressed, oh my God, with how this thing drives. It's incredible. And the best part of it is just the instant torque, the instant power. This thing feels faster than the C63 that I reviewed. Great review, by the way, do watch that, but this feels faster, and the owner of that car agrees with me. Okay, well, one more time. One more time. So yes, I'm extremely impressed with how the Model 3 drives. You do also have Autopilot, which is engaged through the gear lever here. You press down once for just adaptive cruise control, you press down twice and you get the Autopilot. And to be fair, the Autopilot, I mean, it's really good, but the other systems have caught up. Mercedes have caught up, Hyundai have even caught up. You know, it's good, but not incredible. You can spend an eye-watering $10,000 to get full self-driving capability, although it's not quite yet fully available in Australia, and I don't think it will be for a long time because we have really tight legislation here. So in my opinion, it's not worth it, and you can option it later if you want to through a software update. So probably just do that. All of that brings on the question of, is it worth it? And the answer is a resounding, absolutely yes, it is worth it. For its price at just under 82,000 Australian dollars, it is an absolute bargain. For everything that you get with the Model 3, the insane performance, especially for the price, the beautiful quality interior and pretty magical infotainment system, if you can even call it that. It's like a command center, and the practicality is fantastic too. You really cannot go wrong. But I'm curious, what do you guys think of the Model 3? Is it a car that you absolutely love or absolutely hate? Because it seems like you can only have one of those things. Go to the comments section and let me know. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new and like the video, please. It really does help the channel out. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.